So today I'm presenting on FastScan and Gladwell.io, what we did for Q4 and just a sneak peek of what you can expect going into Q1 of this year. I normally just start with sort of what the lead count looks like and then what our revenue looks like. So just looking at Q4 year over year from 2021 to 2022, you can see we did pretty good in terms of getting more leads in. Kind of the main differentiator is we have more leads because they're coming in as scanner and we didn't have the fast scan last year. So there's a good number of new leads that are coming in from that. But we still treat those fast scan leads as Gladwell IO leads as well if they're taking one step in, right? So year over year, so we were at 1139 at 2021 and ended up with 1552 end of the year at 2022. So about a 27% increase in leads overall. And that also equated to an overall about 26% increase in revenue. So this is what this looks like year over year from 2018 to 2022. So at the end of Q4, yeah, we're at about 44,451,862. So really big numbers for IO, continuous growth. But what I really wanted to highlight is one of the big things that we did in Q4 is we had our first IOX. Last year it was called the Gladwell IO Experience. This year it's called the Digital Dentistry Experience. There we had 165 attendees. 92 of those were Gladwell IO offices, dentists and staff, and 16 of those were leads. We sold 19 scanners and 18 mills, and the marketing team was a huge asset in all of this. So I just copied in some photos of the signage that was made, the t-shirts that were designed. Everyone wore those t-shirts that day. The lanyards and the swag bags, I think we're still talking about those this year and just what we can do to keep the excitement going for this year's IOX. And then the second notable effort is just to really highlight what the marketing team's impact on the 2022 sales was. So these numbers are a little bit rough. I'm working with Richard Shaw, who's the head of the sales team for IO, just to kind of hone in a bit on these numbers and what this means for the marketing work that we do. Because as everyone knows, we do a lot, and just the way that's been tracked historically, it's a little rough, right? We don't do promo codes or coupons and you have to call in and buy the system. So we don't have the same amount of tracking tools as maybe some of the other products that we work on within marketing that we're able to track through Tableau and whatnot. So I'm going off of how Rich and Rob label their leads that come in, and they label them as marketing, which is pretty general, or the ROI calculator, or some other random word that they pick up. But based on what they were able to provide for me this year, I was able to narrow it down to a few things. So 229 of the 2022 sales, there was 956 total, were made by marketing efforts. That's about 24%. I don't want to say that 24% of the 2022 leads became sales. I don't know when they became leads because obviously for Gladwell IO, our sales cycle is much longer than any of the other products that we have at the company. So this could have been someone we've been trying to sell for multiple years. This could have been someone that we sold in a day. But in general, of the total sales, that was 24%. And then kind of breaking that down a little bit based on the type of sale. So I broke down the type of sale as someone who just bought the mill. So that's the fastmill.io. And that's the medium blue, which is about 60. The fastscan.io, that's 107. Other scanners, that'll be the various versions of iTero that we sell. And that was at 11. And then Gladwell IO, meaning they bought the whole system. So they bought some sort of scanner and the mill. And that was at 51. And then breaking that down by the type of channel. Again, this is rough here. So 161 of those were from general marketing, and that could have been from any of the e-blasts or banner ads or anything that we do, because from the level that Rob and Rich look at it, they look at marketing as anything that comes in through a jot form, essentially, that they can't identify on their own to this day. So that's something that we're going to work on for 2023. In the gray, we have scanner ROI. So those are people who filled out the ROI calculator for FastScan specifically, and 4 of those people have bought. The mill ROI, so they filled out the fast mill ROI calculator, and 13 of those have bought. And then web, meaning they filled out the contact us form or on the Gladwell IO website, or the contact us form on the Gladwell Dental website, and 51 of those individuals have bought. So a little bit more tracking than I think we've had in the past, but I thought these numbers were really exciting to share with the team. We're getting a little bit closer to being able to identify how marketing is truly impacting the sales and not just looking at it too closely, or not just looking at it from just the leads view. Going a little bit into the different campaigns that we had going on in Q4. So in Q4 for FastScan, we did a few brand awareness campaigns, and this is one that was for our Gladwell active customers. So we did a case stuffer and statement stuffer that went out October, November, December, various of those months targeted. So that was segmented to our Gladwell active customers. The intent was to build brand awareness and bring in any leads if we possibly could. In total, again, rough number just based on what I was able to find from Jotform from the landing pages and the timeline that those were brought in, about 28 leads there. We did some brand awareness around DSOs. So we had a couple of DSO Pro sponsorship or vendor purchases. So we had an article that we did with them and a couple of banner ads. We also did a DSO email to our DSO customers for Gladwell. It's hard to say if any of these came in or didn't come in. They did not come in. We got 0 leads in directly to the landing page that these pieces were linked to, but I can't say confidently that there was 0 leads that came in from this at all. That's definitely an area of improvement for us, but there's a large number, somewhat in the 100 range, that just become leads based on the contact us page. So it's not clear where they come from, and this could have been one of those groups. I'm not sure. But that's definitely, whether it's 0 or there's a little bit more, there's definitely room for improvement there. So that's an audience that we are working on a lot more in 2023. So that'll be a place for us to grow and get better with targeting what our message is to them. And then just third-party prints and Google Ads. Again, we kind of really approach this from a brand awareness standpoint. So this quarter or in Q4, we had a great testimonial from Dr. Prentice, who does a lot for Glado IO, but he also has a fast scan. He had great things to say just about how it helped him expand his practice at a very reasonable price point for him. We talked about we positioned the fast scan, as a scanning solution that pays for itself, and broke down what that cost looked like. Q4, we had a 0% financing offer, which if you accounted for all the savings that you get for setting Gladwell your digital case and what that monthly looks like, you're saving about, I can't remember the number, but it would only cost you $316 per month for your scanner, which is less than what you were actually saving by sending us your scans with that scanner. Dr. Prentice also did an editorial for us in Compendium, where you talked about both the Gladwell IO and the FastScan.io, and really just elaborated again on that message that we have on the print ad. And then we also did a Google ad campaign just to build awareness around Gladwell offering an intraoral scanner option that was powered by Medit. So you can see here we had about 26 Google ad leads come in directly from the Google ad to Jotform. Rich and Rob kind of break that down in just in terms of if those are new leads or qualified leads. So I don't have their number, but from our number, it's 26. We had 52 Glidewell website leads. So those are individuals who came to the Glidewell product page and filled out the form there. And we linked to that page from our print ads. So a large number of those should have come from that direction, although it could also just be people randomly perusing Glidewell's website. And then 30 IO product page leads, again, kind of from the editorial piece or from Google Ads, because that's also where we link to. We also did an ROI campaign. So again, I mentioned this a little earlier. We positioned it as the scanner that pays for itself. So we had a couple of third-party banner ads that broke that down and linked out to our ROI calculator. So the ROI calculator in Q4 brought in 116 leads based on Jotform submissions. That could have come from these campaigns, and that number may also include just people who are on the website who have come from other areas. And then Q4 is really about selling the product. So we did a buy a scanner or buy a second scanner campaign to our Gladwell customers who send us digital impressions. This particular campaign was excluding our Medit customers because they had a special exclusive offer that I'll get into. So directly to these campaigns from the landing page that we used for these, we had 27 leads. But again, there could have been more that were encompassed in that. What was that number? 52 or 30, 82 that came from the websites. Those other unidentified leads could also have come from these campaigns, because we find that people will end up on our landing pages and kind of explore the website and then just end up at the contact us page to give us their information. And then I mentioned we had an exclusive Meta owner promotion. So there was a promotion to upgrade their i500, and they were saving about $2,000 with 0% financing, which is a slightly better offer than what we're offering everyone else who didn't have a Medit scanner. And so this particular campaign was only targeted to our Gladwell customers who send digital scans through a Medit. The direct leads that I was able to identify from this drop form was the number 4, but again, could have been in that 82, but just based on what I was able to pull from Jotform, that was that number here. And then getting into Gladwell.io, Mike helped us put together a false cover for Dentaltown. On that landing page, we're able to pull into false cover leads. I'm not sure, couldn't track back the sales on that one because people like to send us different email addresses than what we actually end up putting them in the system with. So that's something that we're going to work on trying to connect the dots with this year between Rich and I. And then for Gladwell IO, we had 92 web leads in total. So those, again, could have come from the editorials or could have come from the print ads because we just have the general IO website as our call to action for those because again we just want to build brand awareness and that's where all that information lives. In the middle there, I'm featuring a couple of new ads that we had running in Q4. I know a lot of people have seen the Dr. Lyons ad. We have run that one a lot. And then Dr. Greiger is a little bit new. So just a new face. We created her a little while ago and then she started to have some issues with her mill. So we backed off and she's again a happy customer. So we brought her back in. And then we also had a Dentistry Today editorial that was published in Q4. And that's what you see there. For social media and Google Ads, so we have a Jotform specific to our blog and social ads, and that's covering both Google Ads and social media links. So we had 58 leads come in specifically through that Jotform, and then 14 Q4 Google Ads. Wasn't able to capture a screenshot of what our Google Ads looked like for this particular Q4 conversion campaign where we were really promoting that 0% financing offer, but that is what our landing page looked like. And then I'm featuring a couple of social posts that we did for October and November. These had the highest amount of views. So we had this nice, cute little GIF showing Gladwell.io as the user-friendly path to same visit crowns compared to what other CAD/CAM systems look like, a little bit more difficult, a lot more loop-de-loops. And then in November, we had a lot of events going on to wrap up the end of the year. So that post that just played through was just highlighting the different events. So anyone that was on our social media could know where to find us and get their hands on the system to try it out before they buy it. Similarly to FastScan, we'd also did a Q4 offer campaign, and we did this through banner ads and third-party emails. So really just honing in on that 0% financing and taking advantage of 2022 tax savings. Even though those tax savings are good all year round, we find that people like to wait till Q4 to optimize on that. So that was our message there. So we had about 25 leads come through specifically to the landing page that we used for these offers for the emails and banner ads that went out promoting specifically the Q4 offer. And every quarter we run an ROI campaign just to shoot out to the ROI calculator. We find that's the highest lead generating tool whether or not we sell them right away. So on our end, on our job forms, we're able to see that we pulled in 136 new leads based on what Rob and Rich had reported. Their number was 73, which tells me that of that 136, there was a good number that were already identified as leads before. So all they did was raise their hand again. So they were new leads, or some of those leads may not have been qualified as leads. It was just some random person filling out the form. So their number of qualified and or new leads was 73. And then again, we kind of have our regular campaigns that we do every quarter. And one of those is Xeric trading campaign, where we're targeting specifically our Gladwell customers who send us digital impressions via Xeric scanner. We make the assumption that they have a Xeric mill as well. So we hit them with a trade-in offer. For Q4, it was trade in your Xeric after $15,000 trading credit with 0% financing. So we hit them with both mail and email. And from this particular campaign, specifically to this jot form, we pulled in 11 leads. The Add a Mill campaign is targeted to Gladwell customers who send us digital impressions, so similar to what we do for FastScan. So they're getting hit with double the message. Again, mail and postcard. This particular one specific to this landing page brought in 9 leads. And then we hit our Gladwell IO leads and try to get them to be hot leads. So we just go back to that group that have raised their hands before and we hit them on a monthly basis just to get them to raise their hands again so the sales reps know who has Gladwell IO forefront of their brain. So this is just a view of the 3 emails that we had to go out October, November, and December. So we had 12 hot leads come through that raised their hands again and we're saying, hey, we're interested in this particular offer. And every quarter, again, we also do product showcase. So we did have a last couple of events in Q4. The images that are pictured here, I kept from Q2. It's the same exact design. We just hit different cities. So from this one, we pulled in 19 different leads. But I also wanted to point out that based on what Rob and Rich had provided to me, we actually had 17 sales that were specific to sip and scans. So I'd like to say that without marketing's help getting people to this event, we wouldn't have sold as many scanners and mills there as we did. So wanted to highlight that because that basically pays for all of the marketing and then some that we've done through the year. And then trade shows and events are also really huge for us. So every event that IO goes to, we do a pre-marketing email and a pre-marketing postcard. We hit the pre-registrant list if we have that, and we also target 10 general practitioners within 150 miles of the event. So if they're thinking about IO, and they've been talking to a sales rep, they can see that we're coming to that area and they can try to get their hands on it. For the trade shows that we did, there weren't very many in Q4. We brought in 18 leads, but again, I wanted to highlight here, trade shows are huge for IO. Of that 900 and something sales that we brought in, 146 of those were specific to trade shows. And I think a lot of the marketing that we do really help get people to those shows and at least help give them an understanding of what IO is so that when they get there, they're a little bit more perceptible to wanting to buy when the reps talk to them. At Greater New York this year, we also did some display signs. So what we have here is pictured the Glado IO hanging banner that we had as you walk into the show, and then the FastScan.io banner that we had that was in the corner of the show. So really big presence this year, and I don't remember the number. I think it was in the million range. That this is one of the most highest revenue generating shows that we gone to. And just a quick overview of what our Q1 key initiatives are. Again, we always want to support the sales efforts. So the Q1 goal for sales is 100 scanners and 75 mills. So we'll be refreshing our recurring campaign deliverables and our quarterly offer. So that'll be like that CERIC campaign, the Ad Mill campaign, our Rexer Impressions campaign, refreshing the looks of those and getting the Q1 offer out there. We also want to kick off our IOX marketing to support registrations there. Our Q1 goal would be to hit 100. I know right now, just with the few things that we've done for the client success management team, they're already at 46 registrations. So that's really great news, and that's without a landing page and all of those things. So I think that will get to that goal pretty quickly. At Chicago Midwinter, we want to announce, hopefully, fingers crossed, a 3D printer partnership with SprintRay or some other company. And there's a couple of different conversations going on the product side of things of who we're going to partner with for a 3D printer. But the goal is to have that solidified so that we can make an announcement that we're expanding our Gladwell IO portfolio to include a printer by Chicago Midwinter. And really the Q1 initiative is to build out new content. And part of that would be building out some new documentary videos. So we actually just came back from a video shoot with Dr. Totola, where we video shot his install of the IO system. So we're there while he was getting trained, him and his team were getting trained. So we have some really great content from them that would be put together a really nice video of what our white glove service looks like when we're installing the system, and then hearing it from someone with such influence in the industry will really be good for us. And then second one is one doctor that we're targeting, considering for a documentary series is Dr. Pinal Shah. She's a local doctor here in Irvine, and she actually bought the whole system. So she bought the Fast Scan, the Fast Mill, she has the design, and she's new to digital. So she's never done digital before. So we thought this would be a really good opportunity to capture that story that so many people are living, where they're a little apprehensive. She took about a year to decide to buy the Glado IO system and really built a relationship with her sales rep during that time frame. So we think there's a lot of people out there that share the same sentiments as her. So it'd be great to follow what her journey looks like, talk a little about what her hesitations were with buying the system, and then what her perception is of the training when she goes through the training, and then have her come back for the advanced course and do some interviews then to see how she's doing 3 months in, 6 months in, and then at the year, how her first year went. This is also the first quarter that we're doing fast scan.io advanced trainings. And so they're doing an advanced training course for half the day. And then we're going to cross sell them with our intro to CAD CAM course with Dr. Bender the second half of the day. And these are people who have bought the fast scan scanner. And so we're bringing them kind of like we do for the IO owners, bringing them to the campus to get some advanced training and start to build that community. So that'll be the first time that we're doing it this quarter, just to test to see how this goes. So marketing will be supporting them with, handouts and certificates, name tags, and all the stuff that we normally do for courses. And then patient marketing resources. So for IO, we really want to redo our patient marketing resources and make them more digital friendly. We have a lot of dentists who ask us for things they can put on their website or resources that we can help with them with in promoting through social media or through Google Ads. So we want to put together some stuff there that we can provide to them. And then just continuing to compile new testimonials. The install team's doing a great job of just coming back with more photos and starting to get more testimonials. So we want to make sure we're putting that to good use. And what's to come for Q1? Just a sneak peek. So last quarter, we actually created a testimonial brochure or mailer brochure. And so we're using this piece as a gated piece to help generate leads through third party. So if they click the download ebook button and provide us with their name and email address, then we'll get a free copy of this ebook. And it's instead of us talking about what the system does, we have a number of testimonials of the actual users of the system, talking about whether or not it's easy to learn, what the software is like, what the materials are like, how to, how their scheduling is like. So that's a really great piece that's already shown pretty good success. We had, I think, 10 leads come in just a couple of days ago and counting. In the middle there, we have a picture from Dr. Totola's shoot. That's him and his team, and they're holding their first Now crown that was milled, and they were all incredibly impressed with what that looks like coming straight out of the mill. So again, that'll be really great content coming out soon. This quarter, we'll also be developing a milling materials case study brochure that we'll like to also use as a mailer in Q2. And this piece is what we're trying to do is partner with our IO users and get cases of theirs that are featured. So there's a number of doctors who post, their own befores and afters and patient stories in their Facebook group, and it's a little bit of a process of looking to see if those photos are good enough for us to be marketing and using in our own materials. But what we want to do is using more than just our own clinicians, Dr. Chi, Dr. Bender, Dr. Melanie, also bring in some IO users who can show what they're doing with the system and use that as a lead generation tool. And then celebration of IO users brochure that was created for IOX last year, but we also want to use that similarly to the testimonial ebook that we created as an ebook to generate leads through third party. Just more tools to get more content out there and get people really thinking about IO and giving them the information in a different fashion than just us saying this is what we do. So yeah, our main focus for Q1 is to create content that we can use to drive the rest of the year. And that's it from me.